city of St. Louis, November 7th is Election Day. And when you go to the polls, you'll be asked to vote on Proposition P, which will be a half-cent sales tax, and 2/3 of the money, approximately $20 million annually, will go to police officer and salaries as well as benefits. To discuss this is the current mayor of the city of St. Louis, Mayor Lyda Krewson. Mayor, welcome back to Big 550 KTRS.
Thank you, McGraw. Appreciate the chance to be on and visit with you.
You betcha. You need to be on here more often, but I know you've been kind of busy these last couple of weeks.
Well, we'll do it. I'd be happy to do that.
You got it. Tell us about Prop P. Why are you in favor of this?
Prop P is a half-cent sales tax, which will provide a $6,000 per officer raise to our police officers and our firefighters. It will also do a number of other things. It'll give $1.5 million to the circuit attorney's office, about $1 million to recreation programs for kids, about $1 million to summer jobs and after-school jobs for kids, about $1 million to social and mental health workers, and also about $700,000, $675 to be exact, for demolition of derelict buildings that we have in and around the city that we know nothing good happens in a vacant building. So, as you probably know, when the county passed their Prop P back in April, that really changed the whole dynamics for policing and for our first responders in the area because their officers are getting a large raise. They've purported that it's about 30%. And so our officers deserve to be competitively paid and need to be competitively paid.
It doesn't sound like, though, this $6,000 per officer is going to be competitive with a 30% increase in the county, though.
Well, the projected difference in city and county officers is $10,000 to $20,000. There are some other differences. The city pension system is considerably more generous than the counties, and we have some shift differential pay and some of those kind of things. So it's going to be it's going to be good. It's not won't be exactly dollar for dollar, but a half cent, that's all that will generate. And so we did the best we could. If we could do more, we would do more. But I think this is a really important step to bringing us closer to parity with the county. It's been well reported. We've discussed it here. Cities have a hard time with police officers. Academy classes are smaller, and you're down 125 police officers from a full staff. So there is a need because people do not want to be police officers in the city of St. Louis. Well, there is a need. There's a need all over the country and all over our state, but especially here in the city of St. Louis. As of last week, I think the number was we were down 107 officers. We have about 25 young folks that are in our academy right now, and we have another academy class starting here shortly. And so we are making a little bit of progress on that, but you know as well as I do, competitive pay is really very important in any profession. And you want to have the best officers, and to have the best officers, you got to have competitive pay.
What would you say to the protester out there who doesn't feel that the current police are doing a job, and now you want to give them a raise? What do you say to those people who are sympathetic to the protesters who don't think the police are doing a good job?
Well, I think that it's certainly possible to support our police and also understand what some of the protesters are saying. So these two things are not mutually exclusive. To have a good police department, to have a well-trained police department, we've got to continue to invest in our police officers. And I think that that's just critical in any profession. And having a more poorly paid department will not have us have a better department. So it's important, I think, for us to have a competitively paid department. This is an environment where a young person who wants to become a police officer gets to make a choice about what police department they go to work for, and pay will be one of their considerations. I will also say that, of course, pay isn't 100% of the reason that someone works for a department or
a company, but it's certainly a factor. Our police officers are good officers. They like working for the St. Louis Police Department on the whole, but they deserve to be competitively paid.
What do you say to the person who is a police supporter who says, wait a minute here, the Board of Aldermen can't even pass a non-binding resolution praising the police for their duty day in and day out? And so now you want to give them a raise, but the Board of Aldermen can't even get their act together on saying thank you to the police department.
Well, I think these resolutions are they're non-binding. They don't mean anything. I think there are a lot of aldermen who absolutely do support our police department. But the Board of Aldermen right now is in a mode where they're doing these resolutions, and somebody does one, and then somebody does another one, and they're sort of counterbalancing each other. And I don't really think they are that meaningful. There are a lot of aldermen who support our police department, and I think there are a lot of people in the city of St. Louis who support our police department as well. That doesn't mean they don't want more training. They don't want our police officers to do as good as possible. But they do support our police department.
Mayor Lyda Krewson, we'll have to leave it there. We're short on time, but you are always welcome here. Come back anytime, and we'll be happy to chat when you have more time.
Thank you. Love to chat with you.